Hello everyone, it's July 23rd, 2026, and our tropical storm, Bertha, is about to make landfall in Texas. In this video, I'm going to give you everything you need to know regarding the tropical storm Bertha landfall, and we're also going to give you a forecast for the rest of the tropics. And it's another short intro today, I know, but we have a lot to go over regarding the tropical system, and that we may see some future tropical systems. We're going to give you the full forecast right now. And I think the only right way to start this video is with, of course, the big headline today, and that is Tropical Storm Bertha making landfall in Texas here. We did have a landfall occur close to New Orleans, no big impacts that we've seen so far. But the thing that makes me a little bit hesitant as of if the storm intensity is going to be as big as people are talking about is that right now, the low pressure system, if you can see right here on your screen, this is actually over land, right? It's going to go into a little tiny spot for about the next 30 minutes. It's going to be when this video gets posted to where it's going to be over the waters and it's going to have a chance to regrow. As you know, the Gulf waters are very warm and perfect for hurricane development. But as of right now, since we're in an El Nino, that is just a little bit different than how it really should be. It's not as warm as it usually would be this time of year. The El Nino making it much less of a threat for this to kind of fully develop. But it is a very low-end tropical storm as of right now. It's only about 46 miles per hour. The criteria for a tropical storm is in the 30s miles per hour. But as you can see here on your screen, the Hurricane Center predicts that this is going to make landfall right around the Houston, Texas area. And it's going to be about in the next hour or two when this thing actually gets onto land. And when it does move onto land, this whole storm system that you see associated with the low pressure system here is going to move relatively quickly. But as you can see right now, we have a series of tropical storm warnings in effect along the Gulf coastline. But yeah, as you can see, we don't have any warnings here on this side because this is associated with the storm, but this actually is not the storm. This is it up here. They see that swirling kind of motion developing with that. It's been for a while, but that is where the low pressure system is, and that's going to move right around Baytown, Port Arthur, we think, in the next little bit. So Port Arthur may see some minor impacts. Houston may see some minor impacts. I don't think this is going to be anything too crazy. But one thing I do want to focus on is this area back here. You can see that big stormy area. If we go to a single site radar, you can see those are actually storms out there. Those are some storms that you see developing right now. If we check the velocity, you can see that the velocity is showing the potential of maybe a tornado or two. You can see we have some velocity signatures showing a little bit of rotation, and this may pose a tornado threat on the immediate coastline here. And the Storm Prediction Center, if we go to the outlook, has gone ahead and actually issued a marginal risk of severe weather today, as this is going to pass really close by, and that could make some brief severe conditions. If we go to the tornado outlook, though, you can see we do not have a 2% or any risk for tornadoes in the area. That this does not rule out completely a brief spin up, but again, we are pretty confident that this thing is going to completely kind of just exit out, and it's going to lose its intensity really quickly when it moves onto land. You can see when it gets to by San Antonio, it's going to become a tropical depression with wind speeds expected to be around the 23 mile per hour range and wind gusts expected to only be around the 35 mile per hour range. But if you live on the immediate coastline here, you may be seeing some minor impacts as these storms kind of roll in from the Gulf here. But as you can see, there is a lot of lightning signatures in that storm. If we flicked over to the reflectivity, you can see the reflectivity does get a little bit more heavy on the forward side of that. But all around, I don't really think that Tropical Storm Bertha is going to live up to all of the hype and cause a major panic. I think we're going to see some minor impacts from the winds and the rain, but I don't think this is going to be a very big threat, although we do have tropical storm warnings out. So the best advice I can give you, if Houston, Texas right now, and you go to the stores and everything's sold out, don't worry, I don't think this is going to be a life-changing event here. This is not something that you have to panic over. This is something that you may have to take a little bit of precautions, but it's going to be relatively easy to get out of this unscathed no matter where you live. Treat this like an average severe storm system, like maybe you have a marginal or a slight risk of severe severe weather and this rolls through, this is pretty much exactly what we're seeing here. This is weakening very quickly, and by tonight, I don't think this is going to be much of a threat. You can see when it gets over Houston or at around 8 p.m., we're expecting 40-mile-per-hour winds. This thing is going to weaken very fast when it moves over to the land, and this is just a forecast. We don't even know if this is actually how strong it's going to be. It could be even weaker. But yeah, Tropical Storm Bertha, I don't think is going to be much of a big problem. You can see when we were all the way back here, they issued a tropical storm warning for the coast of New Orleans, making this a little bit more hyped up, and that's why online right now this is a trending topic, Tropical Storm Bertha. But I don't think this is going to live up to all of the hype, all of the concerns that people are talking about. I don't think this is going to fit that category. However, if we shift our focus to the Pacific Ocean, this is where we have a more bigger storm than Tropical Storm Bertha here. You can see we have a Category 1 hurricane actually going on right now. This is Hurricane Fausto with wind speeds around the 81-mile-per-hour range. This fits the Category 1 hurricane. It has a minimum pressure of about 982 millibars. But if you're wondering to yourself, hey, how come Tropical Storm Bertha didn't grow just like this one? Well, I have something to show you. This is the reason right here why we're not seeing this crazy explosion of storms in the Gulf or anywhere around the United States right now. And including the El Nino, we also have this outlook that the Climate Prediction Center has issued. And this was issued 2 days ago on the 21st of July. And you can see, if you color code them, you can see tropical storm formation probability, above average rainfall probability, below average, and then you have the above average temperatures and the below average temperatures. If we take a look here at the Atlantic Ocean, you can see we have that green, which indicates an above average risk of seeing that precipitation. But if you look in the Caribbean here, you can see those browns indicate the opposite, that we're not going to see as much precipitation. And you can see we even have the really dark brown in there by Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Dominican Republic. But if you pay attention closely to this area, you can see we have the greens and we have the tropical cyclone formation there as well. We also have the lighter shade of green just above that. And this is for the Pacific Ocean right next to Hawaii. And you can see also on the other side of Hawaii, this is going to be in the Asia region where we see those typhoons. We also have a pretty big risk of seeing tropical cyclone formations. And this is a big risk this year for typhoons if you live in the Asia region. And the other risk is going to be the Pacific Ocean here. The Pacific is really warm right now, and this is a great spot for hurricanes, typhoons to form. However, the Atlantic Ocean just seems to be the opposite. But you can see also just below this that we have another outlook that is valid from August 5th to August 11th, where we have quite the same setup here. We have the pretty big area where we see this goes back into the Gulf, and this goes down even further into the Caribbean, where we see that brown, which indicates below average rainfall, and we also have that green just above it, which indicates above average rainfall. You can see we still have that tropical cyclone formation there for both of the areas that just had it. But yeah, this is one of the many reasons that we are not going to see these tropical systems try to develop quickly, even though we are in an El Nino, so that's going to make it already much harder. This is just adding that extra level of security to just keep all of those storms out of our air. Also, here's another kind of model to show you basically what is happening right now in the tropics. You can see that we have that tropical convergence zone, which is indicated by this red line here that runs through pretty close to the Caribbean. This goes back by Africa as well. And you can see we have 3 tropical waves associated with this as well. You can see all 3 of them there. And you can see that our really big ridge of high pressure sitting pretty much where it always is. It's always sitting up here. Usually we see that pretty big area of high pressure up there, and we're seeing that exactly the same. You can see we have a trough moving through as well here. I mean, right now I don't expect much, but you can see we do have those 3 tropical waves moving through, and we also have these low pressure areas. As of right now, I don't expect much over the next few days as far as the tropical systems go, but we're gonna have to check back with this soon. And I also want to take another look at Bertha. This is what Bertha is currently looking like. And now you can see if I put the video of what Melissa looks like, Hurricane Melissa that hit Jamaica in October of last year. You can see now they're actually resembling themselves pretty quickly, like how these first develop. You can see the purples there starting to get indicated, which means these are going to rise very high. These clouds are very, very, very high in the atmosphere. This, by any means, is not going to be anywhere close to tropical storm or hurricane, but this is kind of just a view to show you how high the clouds went in both of these storms. But you can see when we go over the next few hours that another storm tries to pop up right and converge with this storm system. You can see that indicated right here. Watch that area closely, and it just poofs up very quickly. And that is right around where the tropical system is. And you can see, you can't even tell that this is broken apart. It looks like this is it right here. This is not the tropical area. The tropical area is all the way up here, indicated by that circle that I just put. But yeah, this thing is just completely falling apart. Don't think this is much to worry about. But however, though, this is going to move onto land and may pose a severe weather threat. And it's not going to be the biggest severe weather threat, but it may cause some strong to severe thunderstorms and maybe a brief spin-up tornado. As of right now, this is looking at the National Hurricane Center outlook. This is the next 2 days, and the reason I have it on the 2-day outlook is so you can get a satellite perspective of kind of what we're seeing right now. You can see that nothing is really going on here by Africa. This is our normal region we watch for those big hurricanes. We always see when big hurricanes form, usually it starts all the way out here. We get that tropical wave, and then this pushes forward. The air rises up into the atmosphere, the heat, and then it turns into water droplets, which turns into clouds, which turns into a rotating cloud, and that's how hurricanes form, if you didn't know. But yeah, this, as of right now, it's dead. We don't see really much of anything happening here. And if we check the 7-day outlook, you can see nothing as well. However, I want to take a look. This is what Bertha's satellite image is looking like. It looks pretty crazy. But as you can see, again, it's much different than what this looks like. It's a spinning right here. That is not it. I'm just saying again. This is it right here. It's indicated by that logo that you see there. Yeah, this is a completely different. This is just the storms that were surrounding Bertha. You can see when low pressure systems form. I'm going to put Melissa on the screen here again for kind of a view. When these things form, when hurricanes and tropical systems form, how this happens is we have storms that rotate and they get stronger and rotate around each other in this low pressure system. And these storms can be relatively big, and as you can see, it looks like that's the low pressure system. You think, oh, that's the hurricane. That is not actually the hurricane. Those are the storms that the hurricane is making. The hurricane is actually that low pressure system, the L, which has the low pressure that brings the spin, that brings the thunderstorms and everything else. But these are just thunderstorms rotating around it, and when this actually forms, you'll see the main actual low pressure system is always the eye, if you didn't know. But those storms rotate around the eye, which rotates around the low pressure system, and that's how hurricanes work. So that's exactly the case of what we're seeing here with Bertha. You can see the real low pressure system, where the eye would be, is way farther away from where the storms actually is, and this is the thunderstorms that would try to rotate around it, but it's not really doing much. And as of right now, it's breaking away from Bertha. You can see Bertha is the low pressure system, but the storms that are trying to rotate around it and make it an actual hurricane or tropical system have just fully broken away, since it's not over the Gulf right now and it doesn't have the waters to work with. It doesn't have that storm fuel to keep going and get stronger. And also, here is a little thing that I think you will find a little bit interesting. This is on Tropical Tidbits. This shows us the hurricane hunters. Those are the people that fly into the plane and fly right into the center of these big, massive storms. Very big shout out to them. This has been just crazy that they always do this. I mean, that's a really fun job probably. But this is actually in progress right now at the time we're doing this. This is the mission 13 into Bertha, and you can see that the aircraft is getting close to the system. This is the system right here. You can see, again, the storms associated with it are well away from it. But yeah, this is the low pressure system of Bertha here. I can take kind of a closer look at that. You can see the millibars of pressure looking at 1,004. So yeah, this thing's starting to weaken very, very quickly. And here's the flight path of these hurricane hunters, and they're going into the tropical storm Bertha as of right now. And this is their current progress. You can see it's indicated by the green line. They took off around here and they've made it to around here. And they're trying to go into the system. You can see the real look of Bertha here is, think of this as the eye and think of this as the rotating bands around it. That's really what Bertha is. This is complete different. This is just a storm that Bertha tried to rotate around and it just did not work. But yeah, this is what Bertha is currently looking like here in the Gulf. And this will bring some precipitation and will bring some stuff to the Houston area. Once again, it's not going to be anything major. This is not the next big storm system, but it is a thing that I would take some protective measures from, just like any severe weather event. Like if it's a strong severe thunderstorm day, like a slight risk or even a marginal risk of severe weather, it's not going to be anything too big, but it is noticeable. But yeah, guys, right now that's everything that we have regarding the tropical systems and the tropical outlook over the next few days. We're going to have another one of these out either tomorrow or the next day. I highly appreciate you guys making it this far into the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to share it to anyone that you know that lives in any of these tropical areas. If you know anyone that lives in Hawaii, share this because Hurricane Fausto may be coming. If you live on the shore of Louisiana or you live in Texas and you're going to get impacted by this, let me know in the comments. And also, just really wherever you live, just let me know in the comments. I hope you liked the video. I tried my hardest on it. I appreciate all the support that these videos get, and have a great rest of your day, guys. Goodbye.